So they say, you got a class at 6 o'clock. I said, yeah, I know. They said, you got a class at 6 o'clock. I said, I know. They said, you got a class at 6 o'clock. I said, oh my God, I got a class at 6 o'clock. You ever had one of those days, ladies and gentlemen? All right. My Mondays is so busy. So busy. It's ridiculous. All right. Now, let's just make sure that I'm not talking to myself, first of all, and make sure that we are live streaming here. Let's take a look, and there it is. So let's make sure we are live. Okay, very, very good. So now I can see that we are live streaming. All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As always, this is the quickest hour in real estate. I am Warren Nelson. I am the owner and the director of Online Real Estate School Incorporated. Your instructor. I'm also a licensed broker here in the state of Pennsylvania. Now, it's interesting, ladies and gentlemen, because when I work with my students in the classroom, we'll spend several weeks, 8 weeks together, 75 hours, and we get to know each other. And it becomes a very good camaraderie. And of course, some of the students don't want it to come to an end. They kind of like the atmosphere and the way it's been working out. Some students go on to work with brokerage. I talk about interviewing many brokers, at least 3 to 5 brokers, before you make any decision. And some of the students decide to come with me, with my brokerage, after weighing out all their options and seeing what would be the best situation for their current situation. And so, and there, of course, I hear the phones ringing, going off the hook over there. They're not here, rushing around. So love, can you bring that to me? In any event, so it's a little bit different when I teach the students in my classroom. Can you bring that for me, love? Can't bring it. This is live streaming, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize. All right, bring the phone. I'm on the show now. Thank you, love. All right, thank you. All right, sorry about that. Occupational hazard, ladies and gentlemen. Once you're in the real estate business, the phone's always going to be ringing off the hook. That's good because a lot of income to be made. So as I was saying, in the class, 75 hours in the class, we get to know the students. And in the class, it's kind of like elementary school. And then after you leave elementary school, 6 years in elementary school, then you go to junior high. And junior high for that 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. Some of you remember the junior high. Some of you went right from elementary to high school, depending on the situation. But it was a different atmosphere. When you were in elementary school, everything was fine. You kind of was used to it. And now you get hit with a change. You're now in junior high school. Your classes are separated. And it's a different atmosphere altogether. And so today I was teaching my agents on prospecting and the contracts and so forth. And it's a different atmosphere. And you can see that this agents are a little concerned about what they have to do, what their next steps are. Because now they're running a business. Now they're operating. They already got their license. Now they're in the real estate arena. And now they're starting to understand how to take their business to the next level. And it's very exciting. It's a little apprehensive because it's new, but it's exciting knowing what the outcome could be if you put in the work. And it just keeps getting better and better and better. And so that's the beginning journey. So it's like going from elementary school to junior high school. So my students now are agents, and now they're learning how to run their business. Now they're learning how to deal with sellers and buyers and renters and landlords. And so that is what you are journeying to, ladies and gentlemen. You want to get into real estate. You know that real estate is the way that could answer a lot of your financial worries, and you already have a love or a passion for real estate. So it's something that you would want to do rather than a job that you don't want to do. So all the elements for success are there because it's starting on that platform. Okay, so again, ladies and gentlemen, classes start tomorrow. And because classes start tomorrow, like I need this right now, because classes start tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot of students that wait to the very last minute to sign up. Now, I teach this. I teach you that as an entrepreneur, when you have that entrepreneur blood going through your veins, one of our flaws is that we are procrastinators. I am a procrastinator. So as an entrepreneur, and we like to wait to the very last minute to make a decision to sign up for anything. Yes, we get it done, but we like to make it hard on ourselves by waiting to the very last minute to get it done. That is a trait that entrepreneurs have, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a right or wrong thing. It's just something that you have to understand, that you have to deal with. Let's do this. I got to turn the phone off and turn it back on and see if that works. Now it's asking me for passcodes that never asked me for before. Okay, let's restart and see if we can get a refresh start. So here I am multitasking because tomorrow's the big day. It's the first day of class for the August class. And so we have an orientation tonight at 7, right after this class. And I'm still working with students who want to be at that orientation at 7, also want to be here at this free class, and are still making a decision if they want to be in tomorrow's class or do they want to wait to the September class. But what they're concerned about is they'll find another reason to procrastinate in September, and they just want to do it. They want to get it done. They want to do this. And so one of our problems as entrepreneurs is that procrastinating trait that we have, always waiting for the right time, the preem time, a better time, and maybe it doesn't come. So you're going to have to be a decision maker. And if you can be a decision maker right now and make a decision about your future, then your future will be very dependent on that ability to make decisions. So now you're going to be able to help your client make decisions. You're not going to make decisions for them. You're going to help them make decisions. How do you help them to make decisions? By giving them options. You have curtain number 1, curtain number 2, curtain number 3. Here's what each curtain consists of, and here are your options. And or let's do it another analogy. You have vanilla, chocolate, strawberry. So you're not making a decision and telling your client, take the strawberry. You're giving your client options to make a decision from. And so that's what we teach you here in the class, and how to do real estate practice. The two courses that you have to take: real estate fundamental and real estate practice. Real estate practice talks about just like that, how you help your client make decisions, how you help your client negotiate in the contract, how you help your client understand the process from beginning to end. That is what you are becoming a real estate agent to do. And so my newest agents who have passed the exam are now at that point where they're going to start working with their first client. And it's a little anxious, it's a little apprehensive. And of course, you got to do it anyway. Yes, I'm a little nervous. Yes, I don't really know what to say. I don't have all the answers, but you won't. You won't have all the answers. All you need to do is get started. It's just conversation, ladies and gentlemen, just like this class right now. I literally start the class at 6 o'clock. Am I prepared? Do I have anything prepped or ready? I don't have the time in my day, ladies and gentlemen, to put together a script or look at a script and try to read a script while I'm talking to you. Everything I do is off the cuff. It's live streaming, and I don't know what I was going to say to you in my class today. I just start the conversation, and that conversation has already taken 10 minutes off of this slot, and I had no idea what I was going to talk to you about. All I wanted to do is kind of share my day in the real estate arena. So that's how we work in the real estate business, ladies and gentlemen. Your mouth is your business. And if you're an introvert, or if you are a quiet little speaker, I would encourage you to learn how to be an extrovert and then learn how to project your voice. Because when you learn how to articulate and project it gives the appearance that you know what you're talking about. And that's really what we want. We want our clients to, at least, if we don't know what we talk about, we want to at least perpetrate the fraud that we do. And why? Because we want to be able to give our clients the comfort of knowing that they are working with somebody that at least has more education in real estate than the average person. And this is where you kind of fall short, my young students, because you don't have that confidence. So you might sell yourself short and say, well, I've never done this before. I don't think I can. Just get in there, do the conversation, start talking with people, and you will be surprised how a conversation could lead to income in this arena. So you're going to have to learn to be an extrovert. You're going to have to learn to project your voice. You're going to have to learn to read out loud. See, a lot of my students don't realize this. And we talk about our memory program that we have in our class. And one of the ways that I teach you how to do very well on your state exam is by twofold purpose. One, I teach you how to learn how to read the question. The art of taking any exam is not in the 4 answers, it's in the question. And so when you learn how to read the question, the answer is very easy. And this is what happens. A lot of times we get a little anxiety, we start reading fast, and we want to finish the question and get to the answers before we even finish reading the question. And when we get the answer wrong and we recap it, now when we read the question more calmly, because now we already got it wrong, and now we read the question again, and you're like, oh, yes. And so one of the techniques of doing well is by learning how to read the question. The answer is usually in the question. The 4 answers will be there, but most people will focus on the 4 answers rather than the question. So you're kind of missing it from the very beginning. The second thing is reading out loud. Now, we're not really taught to read out loud in schools anymore. And I'm not going to get into the political arena, what we do and don't learn in the public school system. What I want you to understand is that you are now at a point in time in your life where you're willing to make an investment in your education. This isn't a school that you have to take, a class you have to take. Yes and no. This is a class that you want to take because you want to get into this arena. And the reason that you should be taking this class, first class, is because this platform is the platform that the state insists that you understand so that you can do real estate properly. So this is not about selling you techniques or investments or anything like that. This is a state required class. So if you decide that you want to go on and help others in real estate and charge for your service, then you have to be licensed in the state of Pennsylvania. You can't practice medical without a license. You can't practice law without a license, and you can't practice real estate without a license. So the minute that you charge somebody any form of compensation for the services that you rendered in real estate, you better have a real estate license, or you're committing a criminal offense of practicing real estate without a license. You can help somebody with the real estate, but the minute that you ask for some form of compensation for helping them, that's where the license requirement comes into play. So in order to start charging folks for your services, the state wants to make sure that you understand what you can and cannot do for that compensation. And that license gives you this knowledge of real estate practice and real estate fundamentals. So this is a great platform, a great class to start your real estate journey before you start investing in any real estate investment classes. There are thousands of them out there, ladies and gentlemen, and you can get lost in the labyrinth of all these classes. Having a state mandated class to know what you can and cannot do is an excellent starting point. All right. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that's what this class is all about, obtaining your real estate license. But I designed this school and I'm so excited. We got a couple more locations that we are looking at. to see what we can do. It is a Pennsylvania class, and so we're always looking to try to make this class available for as many as we can. This is why we do a live streaming platform, ladies and gentlemen. How is somebody in Pittsburgh going to come to a class in Philadelphia? How is somebody in Erie, Pennsylvania, supposed to come to Philadelphia for a little class? And so, if there was anything that the pandemic done, it made this state mandated class available statewide now through the live streaming platform. And so, as a business owner, as myself, and as you will be, you're going to be in the real estate business, you're always looking for ways to manage your company to greater profits. And it's exciting for me. So, I'm looking at the possibility of expansion in a twofold situation. I have a school that I would like to expand and take in different directions. So that always motivates me and keeps me going. A lot of people get burned out with that. But for me, finding another source of income, another revenue, another way of getting out there, that's exciting for me. I always like this expansion. So I twofold for me. I got this school and I got the brokerage. And so it's exciting for me, but there's not enough time in a day. I'm up at 5:30 in the morning after going to bed about 3:30 in the morning. I don't really sleep a lot. And even when I do sleep, I just toss and turn anyway. So it's just a waste of time. I might as well be more productive. And so I understand the body needs to recharge. I understand the logic of sleep. I understand that. But the body does what the body does. And, again, as I said, I would love, but I don't want to take medication and sleep that way. So, but in any event, that's an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs very rarely sleep. They're just, their heads are always thinking, boom, boom, boom. So I'm always thinking about expanding. And so that's where we are now. And every little step, including this free class that I do right now, is a avenue to expanding, to getting the word out there, to making it easy for others to understand that it's a lot easier than you think to get started in the real estate business. I think really the hard part comes after you get your license. And now, like today, where I have agents all in the room, all learning how to pick up buyers and how to pick up sellers and how to get these employment contracts and how to get their business going, how to get their first commission check. That's what it comes down to. And right now, my agents, they have the world of opportunity to get many commission checks. Now, all they have to do is put things into motion. And so that's really what I really love about the brokerage, because I'm an educator and I know finally, because this is not my first rodeo, this is not my first brokerage. But when I was younger, I treated my brokerage like it was a business and I made a lot of mistakes. Now I treat my brokerage like a educational facility. And now it's successful because I'm not treating it as a business, but I'm still treating it as a school, the junior high school next. So that's what my brokerage is. And then after a year or two or three with me, depending on your goals, then you're going to go on to do your own thing. Maybe you want to be your own broker of record. Maybe you want to start your own development company. So my second stage, the junior high school, is where you come to my brokerage, and then it's on the job training. Now you're working with the clients. Now you're learning how to find clients. You're learning how to do the contracts. You're learning how to take them out. You're learning how to negotiate. So you're learning all the mechanics while we're on the job. And this takes you out of the classroom, which is the first part, your 75 hours. And then the second part is we take you out of the classroom into the field, working with real estate. So we're working condominiums, we're working row homes, we're doing that right now. So I got my agents very focused on buyers and sellers in certain real estate arenas. And so we'll talk about that later, but this is the enjoyment. It is enjoyment, but it's a lot of work. And see, there's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, you have to understand, to be successful in life, and I want you to listen to me because some of you are not going to like what I have to say, but sometimes it has to be said. If you want the enjoyments in life, you want all these things, you're going to have to understand that you have to work to succeed. There is no entitlement program. There is no get rich quick scheme out there. If you want to be successful, you have to work to succeed. Now, let's talk a little bit about history. And here's where it might get a little bit upsetting, but you have to understand it is history. And we had different slave population. So our African slaves were used for employment, for work. Our Irish slaves, the railroad system, were used, and the immigration system that we have right now, these individuals that are coming over illegally will be the future workers. If you don't follow your history, you're doomed to repeat it. So what's going to happen in a couple of years from now is you're going to see many of those who came over illegally driving nice vehicles, wearing nice clothes, because they're the ones doing the jobs. And again, this is what it's always about, labor. And so every time we have an influx, it's because of labor and because nobody wants to work. So how do we keep everything? You still want all the goods and services, but you don't want to work. And so now we have a little bit of a problem here. And how are we going to fix this? Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's what you have to understand. And so in 2 to 3 or 4 years from now, while you're still looking for some kind of an entitlement program, you're going to notice that visitors are doing much better than us. And why is that? See, so again, it might be an uncomfortable subject, again, as I said, but there is a lesson to be understood and learned in there. And so instead of being all upset about it later on down the line, get a grasp of it now and realize that if you want to keep sitting your butt on that sofa all day long, not doing anything, that's only going to take you so far. And then one day you're going to be jealous and envious of those who put in the effort, the work, and reap the rewards for the effort and the work that they did. And then, maybe then, you will realize the secret for success. All right, so some of us have to learn by our mistakes. Some of us learn by our history, and some of us are just lucky and in the right place at the right time. But understand, ladies and gentlemen, effort in, effort out. My day starts at 5:30 in the morning. When does it end? I would like to say it ends 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. No way. All right. So, but look at everything you accomplish. Now I can look back and realize all that hard work that I kept crying about and saying that, why am I doing it? What? I didn't realize the benefits and the rewards. It's that old expression, enjoy life, because you don't realize that right now, these are the good times. These are the days that you're going to look back at and remember and wish you were back then. But we didn't appreciate then, now. And so this is what our problem is, ladies and gentlemen, that we sometimes don't realize the blessings or the rewards that we've actually received for all the hard work. When you take a look back, you might have went to Sam's Club one day and spontaneously bought a speaker system because it was only 150 bucks on sale. And you bought it. Boom. Now you just think, oh, I saved money because it was a good deal. But then you look back and realize that speaker system was something that I earned. I went out there, I was able to afford that speaker system, and it's now sitting in my place because of my efforts. But maybe I didn't realize the day I bought the speaker system what I had to do to come up with the money to buy the speaker system. So these are the times that we are enjoying, and we'll look back, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll remember. So again, these are little life's examples. You, ladies and gentlemen, who are in this class are on a different journey. What you're trying to figure out now is how your future for you, your children, your parents, your loved one, you are now being responsible because it's no longer just about you. Or some of you are smart enough to think that it isn't just about me and I want for me to have a better situation. But for the most part, most of you are thinking about somebody else, the children, the grandchildren, your family, your loved ones, and you want better so that you can offer better for them. And there's nothing wrong with that. So understand, ladies and gentlemen, I can go into a lot of things that would make sense only after it's explained, but we're missing a lot. sometimes we don't stop the smell, the coffee, and we're just moving so fast to go nowhere. Everybody's in a hurry to get nowhere. Somebody just blew past me at 60 miles an hour, only to be 3 seconds ahead of me at the red light when I pulled up behind them. Where are we going in such a hurry? What are we producing with all the energy that we're espousing in trying to get things done quicker? I don't understand it sometimes, ladies and gentlemen. So slow your roll down a little bit, enjoy life, and understand we don't have to work like dogs to be happy, but we do have to work to be successful. We just can't sit around all day long and think somehow or another the entitlement. You know what? It's been funny. I saw an example of entitlement today, and it was amazing that the work that this young woman put into the effort of her entitlement. So she's collecting unemployment, and she has to do some job interviews, of course, to keep the unemployment. And so I watched the job interview today, and the young lady walks in and says, sign my form. And we said, well, we have to do the interview first. And she goes, well, I'll tell you right now, I want $25 an hour, $500 sign-on bonus. Otherwise, I'm not even interested. Now, you have to understand that she's working in order to keep the entitlement checks coming in. So, but she is putting in some effort. She had to come to the interview. She had to give her spiel. She had to work on not being hired, and nothing for nothing. So what the irony was is that she is working. She just doesn't realize that she is working to keep the unemployment checks coming in. And it behooves me that if you put this much effort into an entitlement, why wouldn't you want to put the effort into bigger and better things? So I think we just come up short, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes trying to buck the system, trying to get over when sometimes we're only getting over on ourselves. Sometimes we only outsmart ourselves. So I try to teach you how to run a successful real estate business. And I've been very lucky in that regards, because I have a student base that you want to learn, you want to invest, then you are willing to dedicate your time and effort to just that, learning. And you're going to love the way the class is set up, ladies and gentlemen. I tell you, after the very first day of my class, you'll know more about real estate than you ever thought you knew after the very first day of my class. And so look at my reviews, ladies and gentlemen. See the reviews. Once again, I want to share what my students say, but when I share this, I want you to see the confidence that they're saying. All right. It's more than book smart. It's more than knowing how to pass an exam. Notice that my students are ready to take on the real estate arena. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's share this with everybody and look at the confidence.
Well, this school was the only school with 5-star reviews. I did a lot of research.
The information that you give us is just like amazing. I think like most of everybody in the class, it was the reviews for me.
After reading your reviews and just trusting my friend, he said, you're 100% the way to go. And I do not regret it at all whatsoever.
Your school is amazing.
I came to you, it was within my expectations.
And the broker knows like, okay, this person, wherever they're going to school, like they know what they're doing. Once I talked to you and spoke to you, I was just like, okay, I think this is the right school.
Personally, I have a very good friend that's actually in the real estate business already a broker. He actually recommended you to be a teacher.
Like served as a mentor, just as many others have said. So it's been a pleasure. It really has. You care about all your students.
He's more than a teacher. He's a mentor. He's someone you look up to.
And you're a great teacher, to be honest with you. You slow down when people have a question. You review things as many times as you need you to.
But you take your time. You actually read to get to know and understand it. And I am so ready. I thank you, and I would take this class over and over and over and over and over.
One of the best teachers ever.
This would be really good for me. And then I think what really pulled me in was once I talked to you on the phone.
I did see the 5-star review. I did look around a little bit.
I mentioned you, and your school is like really, a lot of people about your school.
And I was a little bit skeptical because 5-star reviews, no business, no nothing has 5-star reviews. But it worked out amazing, and I'm happy I chose the school.
But the information that you give, that you get more than a lot of teachers out there give.
Oh, absolutely. I think the school actually really went beyond my expectations.
I cannot thank you enough for the experience and just preparation for my own business.
It's like more information that you give us, the more knowledge. I just lock that into my brain, and I know I'm just going to get out there and achieve a lot of things.
Working with you has been a pleasure. It really has. You served as a mentor.
And I would definitely recommend it to anyone who is looking into any kind of real estate at all.
So there it is, ladies and gentlemen, been around for several years now. Online Real Estate School Incorporated. There's my number, 267-972-1084. Goes right to my phone. You can go to my website for more information as well. So very good, ladies and gentlemen. So I like this, one of my favorite commercials that I like to run, because it really does show what happens after taking my class, during my class, and so forth. Now, again, this class is designed to give you a little bit of real estate information. So let's talk about that, especially since tomorrow is going to be first day of class. And I want you to see what we will experiencing the first day of class. So one of the first questions I will be talking about in the class when we get to that is questions like, who do you represent? And so your mind might go, we represent the buyer, we represent the seller, but that would not be the correct answer for the exam. So questions like, who do you represent? Or question like, what are we selling in this arena? Now, because you're taking a state exam, your common knowledge doesn't come into play. Because when I say, what are we selling in the real estate arena? Your first thing would be real estate. We're selling real estate. We're selling land. Again, that would not be the correct answer for the exam. And so what we'll talk about is the bundle of legal rights, which is something that you do have to understand. So when they buy a property, what are they buying? Did you know that not only are they buying the property, they own that property, plus they also own everything underneath the ground, which is called subterranean or mineral rights, especially in Pennsylvania. So subsurface mineral rights means you also own the things that are underneath the ground, and you also own the air above the property. And again, to your mind, you would think the air above my property, what can I do with it? But I want you to take a look at these two buildings side to side next to me, behind me, ladies and gentlemen. In order to build each floor of a building, we had to buy the air lots. So on the right, we have a 12-story building. On the left, we have a 20-story building, which means, ladies and gentlemen, we had to buy each floor the air rights above that property in order to build these skyscrapers, these commercial buildings. So in the real estate arena, you're going to learn that real estate is not just the land and the property, which we call improvements. It's also below the ground and above the ground. And as a real estate professional, you would understand that these legal rights are included in the sale of the property. Most people only see the property, the four walls. Maybe they see the land, but they don't understand in the legal arena of real estate, there's more value. We can end up selling one property to 4 different owners. For example, let's say that we have coal, oil, gas, shale, some of these minerals underneath the ground of our property. Now we can sell that coal to one industry. We can sell the gas, the oil to another industry. And now you are receiving rental payments from these mineral companies who are trying to pull out these minerals from the ground. And you will also receive royalty if they start pulling out these minerals as well. So if you did not know that you had the legal rights to these things that were underneath your property, then you might be losing a lot of money. And so in the real estate arena, we talk about the bundle of legal rights. Let me give you another example of a bundle of legal rights. Somebody's buying a single family home. And after they buy it, they want to turn it into a rooming house and try to have 5 different families in this 5-bedroom home. Can they do that legally? Bundle of legal rights? The answer would be no. What's holding them back? Zoning law, fire codes. Got to remember to look at the green light, not stop looking at myself. Okay. One of these days I'll learn this lesson. All right. So, no, zoning laws. If they bought a single family property, then the only thing that they can legally use that property for is a single family property. And so one of these bundle of legal rights that we're going to learn is in the deed, the zoning. So we'll talk about easements and encroachment. An easement is the right for somebody else to use your property, like the utility companies might have a utility easement or an easement at large in the deed that gives them the right to come onto the property without knocking on the door. It's in the deed called an easement. So you as a young real estate agent are going to be learning these new words, these new legal significance. We're going to learn the difference between a deed and a title. We hear deed and title all the time. What's the difference between a deed and a title? And so we talk about that. The deed is the legal instrument, the written instrument that transfers ownership. We don't sell property by title. We sell property by deed. We might sell vehicles by title, but we don't sell property by title. We sell property by deed. And it's the transfer, delivery, and acceptance. When the buyer accepts the deed and providing the condition of that deed, we'll talk about it. It should be clear, marketable, good and marketable title, deed. We'll talk about that in class. But once they accept that deed, they become the owner of the property at that moment. This is the time that the property goes from the seller to the buyer. And this is known as delivery and acceptance. The seller will deliver the deed to the buyer. The buyer will accept the deed and become the owner of the property at that time. And I can hear I got another phone in another room ringing, so it never stops. Okay, so what's the difference between deed and title? Well, title is the process of making sure the deed is good. The deed transfers ownership, but the title is the process of making sure the deed is good. Title search, abstract the title, title report, title certificate, title insurance. All right. So a process that makes sure that the deed is good and marketable. Why do we have to do that? It's in the contract. Who does it protect? The buyer or the seller? So these are the things that you're going to learn when you start representing buyers and sellers. What's in the contract that protects the buyer? What's in the contract that protects the seller? What's in the contract that makes the buyer do something? What's in the contract that makes the seller do something? What are their obligations and responsibilities in this agreement? All right. And so that is your job as an agent to help the clients understand the process. And you make a lot of money in the process of doing this, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I shared with my agents today, new agents, brand new agents, not in Pennsylvania. All right. So we'll talk around the different states. These particular agents, different states. But it's always great to see success stories of brand new agents just starting out and why they're doing so well. Here we have an agent just starting out, not even a year in the business, already making almost $400,000 so far in the business. Now, different states, different property values. Here in Pennsylvania, we're right around $200,000 on average for a property. And so, but if you take Florida, you might be right around $700,000 on average, depending on what part you're in. So you have to understand that here in Pennsylvania, you as a real estate agent, I would want you to expect to make $100,000 a year, minimum. And then hopefully you can do 200,000 to 300,000, depending on the effort. I'll teach you the mechanics. I'll teach you the techniques. I'll teach you your time management. All you got to do is do it and then watch the rewards come in. So once you have a system in place, and that's where we do the junior high, after you do this 75 hours and you decide to go to work with a broker, that broker should be giving you some kind of a platform so that you can take your new real estate business to the next level. And that's how it works in the real estate arena. So now with my brokerage, I treat it like a junior high school. It is your next stage of working the real estate business, but now it's on the job training, working with real clients out there in the field, learning how to do the business with my guidance and support through the whole 9 yards. And so that is why my platforms have been successful, because it's paying it forward, teaching you everything that I know, all that I've accumulated. I gladly share it with you. The more the merrier. I have learned, ladies and gentlemen, that in my younger days, my 20s and my 30s, I was so selfish. I was so full of it. I thought I was so much better than everybody else because of the money I was making. So naturally, I'm smarter. I am better because I have all this. But what I didn't have was direction and happiness. And so that money got me into a lot of trouble, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of trouble. And so karma has a way of coming back to nip you in the butt to let you know you're not so smart after all. And when I got a little older and wiser, things changed in my life. I made a pact to pay it forward. And to this day, being as charitable as I am now has showed great rewards in life. I am so much happier now sharing and giving away just about everything I had than I ever was trying to hoard it for myself and not letting anybody know how I was so successful and what I was doing. Now, today, ladies and gentlemen, I gladly share everything so that you can duplicate everything I've done and make sure that you don't make the same mistakes that I made, because I had to do a lot of on-the-job training. That's how I learned my lessons. So I take all this experience and I bring it to the class so that you can go on. So now you're learning, as we just learned, that you're not representing the client. I didn't tell you the answer is. You'll learn that in my class. And you now know that you're not selling real estate. What you are selling is the bundle of legal rights. And you're now learning the bundle of legal rights extend even further than you probably imagine. It's not just for that property. It's everything underneath that property, everything above that property. So if you want to get into the commercial arena, you want to start building high-rise buildings, then you got to understand the real estate, the air above this lot. In order to build this building has to be purchased and negotiated as well. All right. So we'll talk about the air lots in a residential arena for new construction, or air lots in a commercial for new construction. So you're going to learn a lot. Now, let's go on. We also learned the difference between a deed and title. Well, you just got a first glimpse that there is a difference between a deed and a title. Now, let me ask you this question. Are you ready? Here you go. Let's see if you know the answer. If you buy a property here in Pennsylvania and you get a 30-year mortgage on that property, do you own that property day one, or do you own that property 30 years later when you make your last payment? All right, so I'm watching the comments come in, ladies and gentlemen. I usually try not to look at the comments because I got a class to teach, and so I want to stay focused. But I can see that some of my students are giving me the right answer, and I can see that a lot of you are giving me the common answer. So let me repeat the question. Are you ready? If you buy a property here in Pennsylvania and you buy that property with a 30-year mortgage, do you own that property day one, or do you own that property 30 years later when you make the final payment? And the answer is day one, ladies and gentlemen. All right, now I'll teach you not to get the deed and the mortgage mixed up. A lot of people confuse the deed and the mortgage. All right, the mortgage is just a loan. That's all it is. The property is used as collateral, but the bank's name is not on the deed. You, the buyer, your name's on the deed. In this state, Pennsylvania, it's called a lien theory state, which means the bank only has a lien against the property. The bank's name's not on the deed. So when you buy a property, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Erie, Scranton, doesn't matter, anywhere in Pennsylvania, when you buy a property, you get a 30-year mortgage to buy the property, you get the deed to that property day one. You own the property day one. So what? You got a 30-year mortgage. That's a loan. Has nothing to do with the ownership of the property. What that loan is secured by the property. So if you don't make your payment, they can use the property, foreclose on it, sell the property at auction to get the money back. The bank doesn't want your property. The government doesn't want your property. So when these two entities take your property, they're taking the property to have it auctioned off for the money because both want the greenbacks, not the property. So these are what you're going to be learning here in my class. We're going to learn a difference between a foreclosure and a tax sale, a foreclosure auction and a tax sale auction. I told you I'm going to teach you how to invest in property. We're going to talk about installment notes. We're going to talk about lease to purchase, rent to buy. We're going to talk about first options like first right of refusal, where you get to be the first person to buy this property. So all these things will be incorporated into the classroom. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is now 6:46. Now, I've been talking to you for at least 30 minutes straight. At this time, have you heard me stutter, This is the point that I'm trying to tell you. If you have the ability to have a conversation, to control the conversation, then you have the ability to make a lot of money in the real estate arena. All you need to be is a social butterfly. A butterfly that's not social doesn't have a large audience, therefore they're not making a lot of money. But if you are a social butterfly and you have a large audience and following and groups and so forth, a work atmosphere. I got an agent, she's a student of mine, she's not an agent yet, she will pass the exam, and I've been chomping at the bit because she's got such a sphere of influence. She is a professor herself and she teaches other teachers, and she already told them all that she's getting her license, and they all said, we want you to help us. So she's already got this large database of potential clients, and she didn't even pass the exam yet. That is what I see when I see real estate agents already have a database of clients ready to go, and they need to get their license. Now, one other thing, ladies and gentlemen, because this is the first time I ever share this with you. When you're in my class, I really want you to consider it an interview process. And here's what's going to happen. You have zero chance of going to junior high school, working with me on the second level, if you come into my class with your monitor turned off all the time. You can't turn your monitor on. You don't have prayer of ever coming to work because we can already see your style. You're already hiding. You're already lazy. You're already got this. You're not that out there. You don't want anybody to see your hair's messed up. You don't want anybody to see your face today. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a detriment. And so you have to understand that it's always an interview process of your next level. Now, fortunately, in a state mandated class, you should know that there's no recording allowed in the state mandated class, and that in the live streaming platform, the state will require that your monitor be on to verify that you are in the class. And so in about 10 minutes from now, we will have our orientation class for the class that starts tomorrow. And so those students who are signed up and get ready to start tomorrow's class will have an orientation class tonight. And that orientation class is going to make sure that they understand how to sign into the class each day. So I have an attendance sheet for Harrisburg and what would be required while they're in the class. And so the state wants to make sure that you're not milking the system, and the state wants to verify that you are in this live streaming class when you're supposed to be in it. So that won't be for this class. It will be for my orientation class in about 10 minutes from now. And so now I'll be having another class prepping my students for first day of class, which is tomorrow for this. Now, I have 2 classes left, ladies and gentlemen, 2 classes left this year. So I understand that we like to put it off, but I got a September class and an October class after tomorrow's class starts. Now you can still get into my class, my August 23rd class. You can still get in, even if you missed the first 3 days. I can still get you into class because of the way that I got my class designed. I have it designed as an 8-week class, not a 3-week class. It's very, very difficult. Unless you have an exceptional instructor, it's going to be very hard for your average person to try to teach you in 3 weeks what you need to be successful. What that 3-week class is trying to do is just to prep you to pass an exam. So I like to call these 3-week classes real estate prep exams. That's what I really consider them, because it's very hard to cram this much knowledge into a 3-week class. And here's the other thing they got going against you, ladies and gentlemen. Most brokers really don't want an agent that just took a 3-week class or an online course, because they really know that this individual tested well, but that's about it. What do we know what they learned and didn't learn? And so many brokers, ladies and gentlemen, are now insisting that their students come to my school. And see, this is what I told you about working to succeed, because all the brokers out there, everybody knows, look at my reviews, the work, the effort that I put into this class. So when you're a student of mine, I give you 110% to make sure that when you leave my class, you have the confidence and the knowledge. So since this is an 8-week class, you could still get your 75 hours in. And because the way I got the class designed as a redundancy factor, doing and saying the same thing over and over again until it finally sinks in, you don't really miss anything because of the redundancy factor, the way I got it incorporated. So we will be doing the same thing over many times over and over again. So by the end of the 75 hours, we have been so redundant that you are very confident that you heard it 1,000 times at this stage of the game, that you know the answer. So that is the way that I've incorporated this class, to make sure that you learn how to run a real estate business, not just prep exam to prep you to pass the exam. Here's the other thing about my class, ladies and gentlemen. It's $299 for real estate practice, which is a 4-week class, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursday. And it's 4 hours a day with a half-hour break. So it's only really 3.5 hours a day. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 3.5-hour days for 4 weeks is one class. And then the following month, it's $299 for the other class, which is the same days, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, the same hours for 4 weeks. And it's now because you're getting an 8-week class, we have the extra time to give you all this extra knowledge that you should have, so that you know what to do after you pass the state exam, how to run a real estate business. And so that's why many of the brokers are insisting that their students or their agents take this 8-week training rather than trying to take a 3-week class. What do we care as a broker that somebody's got a real estate license and they passed it with a 3-week class? I can tell you right now, we do care, because now I got a new agent that really passed the exam. They had a good school that prepped them on how to answer the questions. So now they passed an exam, but really, what value are they? They know A, B, C, and D. They know how to answer the questions to the exam, but they have no clue how to run a business. And so now what they want to do is come to this broker and rely on this broker, cling to this broker. And most brokers don't want that. Most brokers don't need that clinginess. They would prefer to work with agents who are seasoned, who are experienced, don't need me to do anything. All right. That's not. So most brokers don't want to work with brand new agents. This is why I developed the junior high class. After the 75-hour class, I am one of those brokers that take brand new agents and teach them everything they need to know from the very beginning of their day one of their business to the future. And so since I'm designed as an instructor already, then I started a brokerage as a continuing educational facility. So that goes from the elementary level to the junior high level. And then of course, you will ultimately take yourself to the high school and the college area, to wherever you want to take your business, whatever. Maybe you want to be a big dynasty one day. That's up to you. Everybody has their own dreams and passions and desires. My job is not to stand in the way and try to hold you back. from achieving. My job is to try to help you. So you should only be with me a year, maybe 2, before you go on to your next journey. All right. So that is what I have done. I started the brokerage called ISS Realty, ISS Realty. And ISS Realty, check it out, ladies and gentlemen, is designed to be your next educational level, your junior high school, until after your junior high, working with clients, working on the job. Now you'll go on, start your own brokerage, start your own business, start your own dynasty. This is how I designed it, so I don't hold you back. I encourage you to leave the nest and give you all the ingredients that you need so that you can go on to be as successful and as powerful as you'd like to be. And so that is it, ladies and gentlemen. So I run this free class every Monday, no matter what, even when I'm sick. And now there are holidays. I do take the holidays off. I got a family and I can't spend all my time working. And so we won't run a class on, like, so Labor Day is coming up. And so we won't have a class on Labor Day. All right. So I do it every Monday with the exception of holidays, because me and the family have some plans for Labor Day. So keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. So I run this free class. And the reason that I run this free class is to, one, give you some insight to some real estate knowledge, things that you did not know, that you should know. And as a prelude to help you interview me, see my teaching style, and see if my style matches your learning ability. Can somebody like me be of service to you? So I run this free class for this reason as well. As I said, ladies and gentlemen, I got orientation class at 7 o'clock. And so we'll probably be hearing a little interruption for my next class for those students. So I need to cut this short. Ladies and gentlemen, Online Real Estate School Incorporated.com. Our next class starts tomorrow. The class after that will be September 27th. And then I have only one class left, October 25th. So stop delaying, ladies and gentlemen. Start the journey before somebody else is making the money and you're still sitting around wondering what you want to do. All right, make the decision and come to class. Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, I already talked about the price. I got a morning class, which is 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursday, 9 to 1. And I have an evening class, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So those are my 2 classes that are available. And once you pay for my class, ladies and gentlemen, you never have to pay for it again. So let's just say that you take my 8-week class, you take the exam, and for some reason you don't pass it, and you want to pick up a refresher class, you're welcome to come back to the class free of charge. This will be your alma mater. So that is another benefit of this class. Once you pay for it, you never have to pay for it again. It will always be available. As long as I'm still on this earth, of course, ladies and gentlemen. Don't get mad at me if the good Lord decides to say it's time to go. So, but as long as I'm here, then the class will always be here for you for any future endeavors. And that's one thing I like about the class, because we have a lot of students in my class, but they're really repeat students from previous classes that are looking to do refreshers. They couldn't take the exam, things got in the way, and now they're getting ready to schedule the exam, but they would like to do a little refresher. And that's where being a member of this school pays off, that you will always have it for you later. So keep these things in mind, ladies and gentlemen. It is time to decide on your future, what you would like to do with your future. Real estate should be in that picture. So, all right, Online Real Estate School Incorporated, classes start tomorrow. Look forward to seeing you in my class, and I'm looking forward to making you a licensed real estate professional this year. Ciao. See you next week.